Welcome to the Money Mentors Podcast.
This Money Mentors podcast is about helping you with your retirement questions. So if you have a question for us, reach out online anytime at matsonfinancial.com. And as we continue our special series on taxes this week here on Money Mentors, I thought we would tackle what is known as the Great Wealth Transfer. Now, economists predict nearly $73 trillion will change hands among family members coming up in the next 2 decades. So what issues do you see potentially cropping up tax-wise as this transfer between generations occurs?
This is one of the main objects of who Matson Financial Services is. One of the things we do for our clients is wealth planning and transfer planning. We call it an enhanced plan, talking about money going from one generation to the next to a next generation. And one of the tough things sometimes is that getting a husband and wife on the same page. And give an example, Nancy and I do not agree on this.
Oh.
In fact, she's now coming around saying, well, maybe I should change this up. We have 2 daughters. We love very much. And so she's taking her side of the wealth and dividing it equally between the 2 children.
Okay.
No big deal. My side, I look at it a little differently. And I say, I know that there's what ifs out there. And so for me, if one of my daughters passed and my son-in-law was there taking care of our grandkids, doing everything right, should they be alone the rest of their lives? And the answer, of course, is no. Maybe I'm not even around and they're in their late 50s, early 60s, and my daughter passes, my grandkids are all grown, and the money comes in, and it's been there, and now he gets remarried, and that new person's a wonderful person, been there 20, 25, 30 years over the lifetime, and that son-in-law wants to leave for his new bride, whatever. My problem is I probably don't know her, and I don't know their children together or their children that she brought in as a blended. And quite frankly, I don't want my money to go that way.
Right.
I'm not being snotty. I'm not being mean. I'm just saying I don't know that. I really want to follow my bloodline. So I have set up a plan that my children are going to get 60% of what they're going to get divided equally, and 40% is going to go directly to my grandkids. And there's other assets, 50% of what's outside of that is going to go into a dynasty trust. I'm not giving legal advice, but it's called a dynasty trust that goes on forever. So my bloodline can have access at funds for college, medical, whatever is going on in their lives forever.
Wow.
Until there's not a bloodline left. Now, most people don't realize that this is something you can do, and the assets can grow basically from a tax-free point of view if it's done correctly. And that's what we have set up, that we are giving to our children, we're giving to our grandchildren, but when those are all done, there's going to be around $11 million in this dynasty trust or more, and it can include real estate, and they can put money into it, and it all came in tax-free.
Wow.
Beautiful. Love that part. And then my great-grandchildren. Now, we say to clients all the time, what's the name of your great-grandfather? And they'll go, well, I know my grandfather's name, but I don't know my great-grandfather. Or I had one guy say, Thomas. I said, well, how do you know that? He says, because I'm a Thomas. My dad's a Thomas. My grandfather's Thomas. Great-grandfather's Thomas. We're all Thomases. Okay. But if you're getting something passed on from a family point of view, you're going to know that great-grandmother, you're going to know that great-grandfather, and they're going to have something going on for you to participate in and understand the tool called money.
With these enhanced plans, there's so many different ways it can unfold. And the key thing that I really enjoy talking about with my clients is, let's talk about what do you want to have happen? How is it set up? God forbid if something were to have happened yesterday. And I put it in real terms. Not that anything they're doing or they're saying is wrong or their goals are wrong. I just want to let them know what is good about what they've done so far and what are some areas of opportunity that could be an issue later on. Gary taught me this expression, I think day one I was here.
Oh, yeah.
Money makes people funny.
Absolutely.
So you've got to have these conversations. You got to talk about it, create a plan, because we know the plan's going to change, right? Whatever you say today, you could change it 10 years from now, and that's okay. But you've got to make sure that you're planning for what we all know is coming. We just don't know when. So the more planning you can do and more conversations you can have before it happens, it makes things easier for those that are left behind.
Yeah, let's face it. Parents don't talk to the kids about sex and about money. We just don't, because we don't think we're experts of those type of things. Well, let's change that narrative and help your children, grandchildren, even your great-grandchildren understand the tool called money and how it works. I mean, let's face it, $72.6 trillion. Now, we can have that set up so it does something, or we can have it set up that it's smoke, it's gone. And you don't have to be multimillionaires for make any plan that we're talking about work well for your family. You don't have to start like we are with $11 million per our plan or whatever's going on. You can set up your plan, but over time, it's going to keep going and going and going. You've heard the term the Morgan family, J.P. Morgan. You've heard of the Kennedys. You've heard of the Bushes, the Obamas. These are the techniques they use to pass on assets and grow wealth. And let's face it, if your children were going to inherit at $10 million apiece or $20 million apiece, what kind of pressure does that put on them? You know, who's the greatest orator of all time about money?
Warren Buffett.
Yeah. Warren Buffett said, I gave my kids just enough money to be comfortable, but not enough that they cannot work. And that's where the philosophy comes in, is that where do you want your children to be and your grandchildren? I want my kids to have an understanding and my grandkids to have an understanding of a tool called money. I don't want to have them enough that they sit around and eat bonbons and become worthless in society. I want them to be contributing and looking how things can be better for society. It's not about a handout, it's about a hand up. Grabbing their hand, teaching them, and making them productive. And the nice thing is we have a scenario that where a family member can't do that, whether it's a birth defect, accident, whatever, they're taken care of.
Want weekly lessons from your money mentors? Yes. Hit the subscribe button now and listen every weekend on Wood Radio.
The opinions expressed in this program are for general informational purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual or on any specific security. To determine which investments may be appropriate for you, consult your financial advisor prior to investing. Any past performance discussed during this program is no guarantee of future results. Fee-based financial planning and investment services are offered by Matson Financial Services, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Insurance products and services offered through Lakeview Financial Group, LLC, Matson Financial Services, LLC, and Lakeview Financial Group are affiliated. To find out if Matson Financial Services is licensed in your state, please call 800-536-8907.